Hello, welcome to another video on my channel, Wiped Up Coach. Thank you guys for joining me today as we go through the 21 days to feminine magnetism. Today we are on day number 18. So we are pretty much done with this journey. I hope you guys are learning and becoming your most authentic feminine selves. So let's chat about that in the comments. Now, so let's get started on today's thing. So today is day number 18. Day number 18. And day number 18 is about, so today is called owning your shit. It's called owning your shit. And this chapter is really introspective. This book is really introspective altogether, but about you taking a look at you. So many times we forget to take looks at ourselves and we're always wanting to point the finger. That's why I'm a big believer of removing your ego and focusing on yourself, focus on your inner work and what you have to do to have the type of relationship that you want, right? Okay, so let's start with today's quote. So today's quote says, if you could kick the person in the pants most responsible for your trouble, you wouldn't sit for a month. Theodore Roosevelt. Right? So if you can kick the person most responsible for your pain, for your troubles, for your heartache, for your pattern in relationships, you wouldn't sit for a week. So what is that saying? So that's saying that honestly, you are the common denominator. And does that mean that necessarily the things that have negatively happened to you or negatively affected your life are necessarily your fault? No, that's not what this is about. But it's saying that you are the conduit. You are the one who brings those type of things, those type of situations into your life. You bring them into your life. You bring those people into your life. You attract those people into your life. Remember I was saying, I believe, on yesterday's video, how we are all energetic beings, right? We're energetic, soulful beings interacting and subconsciously speaking to each other and attracting each other into our lives for different purposes, right? So whenever you attract someone into your life, it's because your soul has been programmed to believe that that is the type of person that you want in your life. And it's not just with romantic relationships, it's also with friendships. It's also with co-workers that you have a substantial relationship with, things like that. So this isn't just like, hey, my friends, or I'm sorry, hey, like my love life is a certain way. No, this isn't just your love life. Like this is any type of relationship that you attract into your life, right? So we have to kind of be mindful of who we are attracting into our life. And when you see a pattern of people that you're attracting into your life, you have to do the inner work so that you will continue, so you will not continue down that same road, right? Because you know what Mahatma Gandhi said? He said, be the change you want to see in the world, right? And a lot of people think that means like, okay, well, if I want peace in the world, I should be a peaceful person or something like that. And that's on a broader aspect, yes, that is what that means. But on a more micro level, it means any type of change that you want to see in your life, any type of change, you first need to be that change. You need to be what you want to attract in your life. You can't expect to have a healthy, quality, mentally, emotionally stable man, and you yourself are not mentally, emotionally stable, because that's not who you are, right? So you can only attract the things in your life that are the same as you. You know, like they say, things that are at your level. Like you can only track things that are at the same level as you, right? Energetically at the same level as you. So this chapter about owning your shit, owning your stuff, is about taking accountability. And this is a real blow for the ego, because the ego doesn't want to take accountability. The ego doesn't want to say, hey, maybe I could have done things differently. Maybe I could have done this differently. Maybe I could do things differently next time. The ego doesn't like to take accountability. The ego instead likes to play the blame game, play the victim, and point fingers, so that you don't ever change and you stay stuck. And being stuck and not changing to the ego is safety. And the ego, ultimately, the ego gets a bad rep, but the ego's main goal is to keep you safe. And it feels like the best way to keep you safe is to keep you stuck where you are. It doesn't care about you being happy or sad or angry. It doesn't care about that. The only thing it cares about is keeping you alive and keeping you safe. So it does that through very tainted ways most of the time, because to the ego, if you make any type of change, you are indeed, putting yourself at risk for dying to it. So it's like, if it has you in this box of a person who like, okay, I don't ever like go out and take a chance and like go to bars by myself and try and meet men. I'm always like, I have to go with a friend. I have to go, or I have to do online dating only. I can never take any other routes to maybe finding the one I want, because this is comfortable to me. So to the ego, comfortability is safety. And safety keeps you alive outside of your comfort zone, such as, okay, if I go sit at this bar by myself and see if any men approach me, or even if they don't, I just have a good time and I don't care if other people are. 9 times out of 10, they aren't even thinking about you. So it's very much in your ego to feel self-conscious, right? Feeling self-conscious is the ego, right? Feeling self-conscious, feeling judged by people, feeling like people are judging you or they're looking down upon you because you're somewhere alone. That's in your ego, right? So an ego makes you feel uncomfortable with this because it's getting you out of your comfort zone, right? It's comfortable for you to go places by yourself, right? But if you go by yourself, if you often, like myself, go places regularly alone, or I used to go alone all the time. I met so many interesting people when I would go places by myself, right? I met so many interesting people. I made like a lot of cool people, like friendships and things like that when I went places by myself. Because it's easier for people to come to you and connect with you if you're alone, right? It's like one person is less scary than like if you're in a big group of people. And obviously, like a lot of times people aren't judging you because you're alone, but they want to know. They're kind of like mesmerized, and they kind of want to be like, wow, I wish I could do that. And they kind of want to get to know you, because they're like, most people are afraid, and they're in their ego and they're afraid to do things alone. So when you do things alone, people 9 times out of 10, they aren't judging you. They're really mesmerized and in awe of you. And they want to get to know you because they're like, wow, that's so brave. Like, I wish I could be brave like that. So that's every time that I've experienced someone like approaching me. When it comes to romantic ways, it's best to be alone, because it's less daunting to a man for him to approach you and it's just you, right? So if it's several women, he is like, okay, what if they come for me? What if they try and cock block me and be like, no, stay away from my friend, or like if they get offended because I only talk to one. So there's too many things that he has to worry about if, there's more than one of you. But if there's just you, then he's like, okay, his guard comes down. He feels more comfortable. He's like, okay, it's only one woman. If she rejects me, it's not that big of a deal. But it's not the shame of like getting rejected or getting told off by a group of women or more than one woman, right? So you'll get a lot of more men approaching you when you're by yourself, chance of getting rejected, which is absolutely true, right? So today's section is all about taking accountability, right? So a lot of times people think accountability means, and this is accountability is like the number one in my coaching program. I start with accountability. And a lot of people think accountability is about guilt or shame. And it's absolutely not about guilt, nor is it about shame. It's not about any of those things. Accountability, like a lot of people think, okay, well, I did this wrong. I feel so bad because I did that wrong. I did this wrong. And that's honestly not what accountability is about, right? I mean, it's a little aspect of being accountable, is realizing the mistakes that you made. But usually when people do this type of stuff, they beat themselves up. They're like, oh, I wish I would have did this. I wish I would have did that. Oh, I made this mistake. I made that mistake. And honestly, like, that's not really what accountability is about. Accountability isn't meant to make you feel guilty or feel ashamed. Because when people beat themselves up and say, oh, I should do this, I should do that, it's kind of victimhood, right? And it's kind of being in the ego, right? And that's not really what accountability is. So yes, you should own up to your mistakes. You should, if you did something wrong, feel remorse, right? But there's a healthy way to express remorse rather than feeling guilty or feeling ashamed of yourself, right? So that's not what accountability is. It's not about invoking shame or guilt. What it's about is realizing that you are the common denominator in every single situation that you have. And you have to take ownership of your life. You have to be the one to say, hey, I don't like what I'm attracting. I don't like the type of men who are coming into my life. So what can I do to change that dynamic, right? Instead of pointing the fingers and saying, oh, men ain't this, men ain't that. And I keep on attracting losers. I keep on attracting cheaters. I keep on attracting broke men. It's about saying, okay, this is a pattern of men that I keep on attracting. For some reason, the last 5 men that I've encountered have all been broke. So why are broke men attracted to me? What is about me that is attractive to the broke man, right? So then you have to do that internal work, which I go through, about why you are attracted to broke men. So it could be broke men, it could be cheaters, it could be liars, it could be men who don't. You have to ask yourself, why do these type of men feel welcome in my life? Because not all women are attracted to these type of men. It's about you and these other women that make these men attracted to you, right? So you have to do the deep inner work of figuring that out. And once you've done that deep inner work and you've changed your programming, you will find that you will no longer attract those type of men. You no longer attract broke men. You no longer attract liars, if that was the type of men you were attracting, or cheaters, or men who just don't want to commit and they just want to have casual relations. You won't attract those type of men once you do the inner work. Because like I said, we are all energetic beings, right? And so your energetic being, your spirit, is telling that person's spirit that, hey, you're welcome to my life. And their spirit is saying the same thing to you, right? So that's why you guys came together. So in order to change that, you need to change your energetic blueprint. And you do that by reprogramming your mind. Like I said, this book is taking you on a journey to reprogram your mind. But you still must do the work long after this book, because it's not a one-time thing. As I say to my clients, when I give them things to do, I'm like, you're going to have to do this more than once. It's not just like write this affirmation once or listen to this meditation once and everything is going to work for you. No, your mind has been programmed however many years you've been alive. That many years has been programmed to where it is today. So if you want to reprogram it, I mean, it's not going to take that many years to reprogram yourself because you're doing it consciously. Before it was unconsciously, it just kind of like life happened to you and then you kind of got reprogrammed by that circumstance. But when you're proactively trying to reprogram yourself, it will be a lot less time, but it will definitely take some time. So don't think that this is going to be a quick fix. Don't think that you're going to go through this 21 days and you're just going to understand femininity. You're going to understand everything that you need to do. You're not, and that's okay. And it's actually very abnormal if you feel like you've gotten it in the 21 days, because it took me time. When I first got this information, I thought it was a whole bunch of crap. I was like, But then I started to try it here and there. I wasn't fully convinced, but I began to try it. And I would see little changes. So then I would say, okay, well, maybe it's a coincidence. But then I would come back to this information and I would try it again and I would see results again. So over time, after keep trying and trying the information, I started to internalize and I started to see evidence that it worked. Right. And so once I saw evidence that it worked, it became second nature and I understood. So that is what you have to do. So this chapter is all about you. You have to find, this chapter is about taking accountability and taking your power back as a woman. A lot of people misinformedly, if that's a word, I believe it is. A lot of people are misinformed, I would say. And they think that being feminine means that I don't have a voice. I can't speak out. I can't speak on the things that bother me, right? And that is absolutely not true, right? I've said this before. If you are a doormat, if you let men walk over you, let anybody walk all over you, that's not what feminine, that you're not being feminine, right? You're actually in a way being masculine. Because you're being masculine because being a doormat is actually a very passive aggressive way to deal with things, right? And any type of aggression is masculine. So it just because it's not overt aggression, it's still masculine. So any type of aggression is masculine. So you have to take accountability for yourself. That's where it begins. And then after you take accountability, you have to understand your power. A lot of women don't have the relationship they want because they have given their power over to men. You have to take your power back from men. And that's why I advocate having a roster. Because in a roster situation, you are the one who is absolutely in control. You're not sitting around waiting to see what happens with this man. See, when you are in a traditional relationship, exclusive relationship, i.e. boyfriend and girlfriend or whatever people may want to call it, you are literally waiting for that man to dump you or to marry you. Right? That's pretty much it. Or for you to get fed up and decide, hey, this ain't working for me. He not moving this to where I want to be, so I'm gonna leave. Right? So you're in limbo. You're just waiting. But when you do the roster thing, you're not waiting. You're in full power mode. You're in full power mode. It's all about you and what you want and your needs. And when it comes to dating, that is the time to be selfish. It needs to be about you. But too many women become exclusive in the dating period and they become too concerned about what men feel and what men think. And you should not do that in the dating game. Now, when you get an exclusive relationship such as engagement, it becomes more about you too, right? It's not just you. But in the dating stage, you need to make sure that your needs and your wants are getting met. It doesn't mean be disrespectful to the other person. It doesn't mean be selfish in the extent of, it's all about you every single time that you go somewhere or he takes you out or you become a spoiled brat. It's not that sense of me, or being selfish. But it's a sense of being selfish of like making sure that you are in control, right? And making sure that if something doesn't feel good to you, you're not doing it. You're not doing it. You're not doing it for the sake of keeping peace or for him or any of those type of things. You're doing what feels good to you at every single moment. That is what I mean by being selfish. Not well, I know he don't like romantic comedies. Every time we go to the movies, I'm going to suggest a romantic comedy. Not that type of selfishness. No. And that's why a lot of women are single and having issues with dating because what I want, what I need, me, what I think about, what I care about all the time. No. That's not what I'm talking about, ladies. Not at all. A man is dating you for his benefit as well. So he has to be getting something out of it, or why would he bother, right? So if you're always worried about your needs as far as like what you want to do, how you want the date to go out, play out, and things like that, then you're being selfish and you're not going to, you're going to have a very hard time in dating. So that is really that's really pretty much all that this section is about. Really, it's just taking accountability, realizing that you have all the power. Stop playing the victim. Stop playing the blame game and saying men this, men that, men don't do this, men don't do that. If you take accountability, you take by your power, you don't have to worry about ever getting hurt again. You don't have to worry about trusting men. Like a lot of women, I can't trust a man. You don't have to trust men. Trust yourself. Trust yourself and stick to your guns, stick to your power, and you will be in absolute control, right? So I hope this video helped. I hope it clarified this chapter a little bit. Let's have a discussion in the comments. Also, feel free to join my Facebook group. The link will be in the discussion. If you are wondering what book I am speaking of, the link will also be in the description to get it. And let's chat, ladies. So if you enjoyed this video, if you like what I had to say, feel free to give it a thumbs up and subscribe to my channel. All right, until tomorrow, have a great day. Bye-bye.